All right.
Brian,
Marten,
nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you again as well, man. I was very excited that you came up to the clubhouse last night. That was a good experience for me. And this is actually going to be the first podcast or the first anything that I've personally used in this space to like benefit myself and create content. So like I'm very happy to be inside of here right now. We just got a old school DDR camper van donated to us, and I wanted to make it a podcast room and an interview room, and we've set it up, and this is like the first time I've been able to utilize it for an experience, you know what I mean? So I'm really happy that it's with you, man. This is cool because you and I have a really cool kind of history, I think. I don't really know what I want to call this podcast yet, but I know that I want to interview people who are doing really cool things. Instead of like celebrities and things like this, I feel like that there's a lot of normal, cool people out there that are doing really remarkable things. And I think that on an inspirational level, like we can look at celebrities and things like this, but when we see normal people doing cool things, I think it gives us a different kind of motivation. It really shows that what we're doing is possible. And so most people might not know exactly what you do, but I bet they've seen it, which is the cool thing, and that's a project called Soundslikevanspirit.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so this is Marten from Soundslikevanspirit, and I'm really happy to have you on this podcast today. Yeah, and so let's talk a little bit about that. I guess the viewers can't see this, but you have a camper van as well, kind of. Is parked outside, and
Yes.
tell me why it's out there and what it is.
It used to be an ice cream truck, and I was working in recording studios, and I was kind of upset with the way music was made on small and large scale. Like I was studying music production, and most of the people I talked to in the university, like when I was asking them, how are you doing, they would respond something like, I'm busy, you know, which is a good thing, but also like artists shouldn't be busy all the time, you know. They should be creating with love, and they should be passionate about things. And then you wouldn't call yourself busy. You would just
I'm in the flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then I thought it would get better once I moved from the university to more expensive to higher acknowledged recording studios. But it turned out to be even worse. People were even more stressed in these recording studios because there's big money and big pressure on creating something that can sell. So it felt a bit unnatural for me, and I thought of ways how can I move away from this and still do what I love doing, maintain my freedom, and create with passion, and rather than create because I have to pay bills.
Right.
And then I was so inspired by a street musician that I've met online, or saw in a video, and we eventually recorded an album, and he refused to play a song twice. You know, the album was basically only one-time recordings.
This is cool.
And this was so unusual for me because I'm used to record songs like over a period of time, like a week or a month or whatever, and he did it once, and that was it. Don't touch it. And I found this so inspirational, and I thought of ways how can I live my life in a way similar to how he is living your life as a street musician. What can I do as an audio engineer, music producer? And then this idea emerged that I wanted to record more street musicians.
Yeah.
And I needed just a big car to put in the microphones, the recording gear, and then some kind of bed. And that's how I got started.
But you took your idea and you actually did something with it. Like, you didn't just make a recording studio in your van and then get on eBay Kleinanzeigen and look for clients. Like, you literally took on an entire project of making this just to benefit other people. You know what I mean? I am like, when what you did is travel around Europe for 2 years with this van and record street musicians from all over the world, right? Which is like a crazy thing. And that is such like a selfless act. You know what I mean? I said selfish, but selfless act. That's such a selfless act where you invest so much into the time, and I know it benefits you as far as learning about recording and things like this, and it's good for your mind, but you impacted so many people's lives at your cost, you know what I mean, which is crazy, and people don't do this these days, and this just really shows like the true spirit of what music is, and what recording should be. As far as what music is, nobody really thinks about the person who's recording it when they're listening to a song, and it's good to pay respect and homage and bring attention to the people that are the recording ones, because the person that records you, the person that mixes you, I mean, their influence is completely in the song.
Yes. Yeah.
Yet no, like when you hear a song, you don't ever think about where did they do that, what environment were they in, and this, you know, what I think what you provided is amazing, an amazing thing. You're working on a DVD right now for it and a possible book for it. Tell me the coolest thing about your adventures. Like, where did you go? What did you do? Like,
I hear this question so often. I never find this one answer that covers this all. You know.
Yeah.
One thing that I mean, I'm German. I studied in Holland. You know, I understood how German or Dutch Western I'm raised.
Yeah.
When I came to the South, you know, and when I started traveling, because I wanted, even though I have a chaotic brain, I wanted to organize this trip, you know. I wanted to, okay, 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there,
Yeah.
But it doesn't work out like this.
Yeah.
Because you need to find these people. And often you find them the last day in the city. And then it's like, oh, fuck, I have to rearrange everything to make a recession possible. So,
everything is cool and everything is crazy all at once.
yeah, it's like, it's a wave, you know, like life gets so crazy and so enormous, beautiful, but then also there comes this point where you have to leave, you have to say goodbye to these people, and you go to the next city and you're on your own again, you know?
Yeah.
And so life just got like so much contrast, like within a few days, which was sometimes like challenging, you know?
Yeah.
But it was also so beautiful, you know, whenever there were like some days where like, okay, what am I doing here? I have no idea why I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And then you meet this like street band from Madrid, like 12 people inviting you over to like a tapas bar that they open at night just for this small group jamming, you know, and like, well, okay, yeah, that's why I'm doing this. You
Yes,
know?
man.
And that's why and then I get all these like van life pictures from my friends that also travel, like beautiful nature sceneries, you know, like I've been there also a few times, but not so. Mostly I was like on a shitty parking lot somewhere in a big city, you know?
Right.
Waiting for the street musicians to show up. But this is such a...
Urban camping.
Yeah, but there's such a quality to this, to dive into this culture, and this is just amazing.
And at the same time, while you're experiencing... while the street musicians are experiencing their freedom, you're experiencing your freedom also. You know what I mean? Which is great. It's not like we're coming to your job and you're hired and scheduled to work this specific amount of hours and you might not even like the music that you're working on. Like, you're literally on your own personal freedom journey, and combining that with when mostly street musicians are also under this I live in a free society kind of just doing what I want. Like, this is an amazing combination, I think, that can really create something beautiful. And what I was impressed with your whole journey was that you had a solid plan, man. Like, you had a solid plan. Maybe you don't think so, which I can totally understand, but from seeing it happen to like then getting like you had the website, you had the sponsorships, you had a plan, you know, record, DVD, book. Like you like, that's a solid plan. Most people just dive into projects and then they don't finish them because they're not aiming in one direction. Does this make sense? Like, there's a million directions that they're going in, and then they end up with, you know, half completed things. And I really think that this is a solid project that you have a plan for, and it's, you know, it's we did it in 2017, yeah, 2017. And I know it's not an easy process at all, but I was really, really happy to be a part of the whole experience, and I look forward to seeing what the next steps are, you know? What you did was bring together a community, you know what I mean? And this is important, especially like in these times, and bringing solidarity between people and experiencing magical moments together is like a really important thing. Like, And it develops friendships and it builds things for years. You know what I mean? Which is great. Like, you will see more than just me again, I promise. You know what I mean? Like, you will see these people again, and you will have...
It's so crazy, actually. Like when I returned from my journey, like 3 days after my engine broke, and out of frustration because I tried to fix it, I moved to Berlin because I wanted to travel, you know, and I didn't have a vehicle anymore. And as soon as I got moved into my apartment and I went out, there was a van in front of my door that I knew, but I didn't remember from where. And the next day I met this person. I spent 3 months with this person in Lisbon on a parking lot. And then the first time the first time I go to a club with some friends here in Berlin, I also met a guy that I met in Athens, and on the day that I went from minus 500 euros to like I got some money, I could continue, you know. On this day, like, wow, I met this person. I met him the first time I go party in Berlin.
I mean, there's something truly, once you open your eyes to this kind of stuff, there's something truly supernatural almost. You know what I mean? Like, about the whole experience. Like, I mean, I have almost the exact same stories, you know what I mean, as far as running into people or being in situations where you just don't know what the fuck is about to happen, and then miraculously something comes into your life, like you manifest these people, or like something comes into your life. When I started rapping, like, I literally, it was because I got in my car, I left the bad situation I was in, I drove to a different city, and the first people's house I parked in front of just randomly were beat makers, you know what I mean? So, and other rappers, like, they were having a party, like, on day, like, 3 of me sleeping out in front of their place, and, you know, so it was like, I think, like, the universe kind of, like, pushes you in the directions that you need to go, and I think, like the van breaking down was not a bad thing. It was meant to lead you into the directions that you're going now, and then these people still coming into your life. Like, this is like, I think it's important that we notice, like, why the people are in our lives, why they keep coming into our lives, why they randomly are fucking here at this bar. Like, it's really good to, like, reflect on that, I think, and focus and figure out why is out of the millions and millions of people that I could possibly meet, why did I meet the ones I did? Why are these ones still coming back? Like, what is the purpose? And I think that if we lose sight of that, then we miss a lot of good lessons. You know what I mean? Like, we miss a lot of good good opportunities or lessons just about our lives. Because I think that I'm really into the universe, and I just think that, like, it's gonna consistently tell you, like, what you need to do, and it's gonna put those people in front of your life. You know, and so. And we do have to make the effort to make that happen, which is one of the reasons why I like you here, because I want to get people here that are doing shit, you know what I mean, into the clubhouse, and I want to get people coming over here and blessing us with their energies and sitting here having podcasts with people that are like, that I can look up to, and that also look up to me, and that also my fans and other people just in general can look up to. It's one thing to be like a creator, but when you've created, this is a whole new thing. Like, when it's done creating, like, it's like, this is, in my point, when you're actually deemed worthy now, in a sense of, like,
the moment where you feel like I'm done creating is such a small period of time.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like this feeling of, oh, I completed a circle, but then the whole thing starts again. And what we've been talking about before, you know, that I had a plan and I had a direction. I didn't really have this master plan, and then wrote down all the steps that were necessary taking.
Yeah.
I was just like resonating on a personal level, on a professional level, and and everything was just resonating and wanted the same thing. And then from this, the steps kind of occurred, you know, they just happened. I didn't have this master plan from day one.
No.
And now, having returned and finished the project more or less that I've been working on for such a long time, you know, like even before having bought this van and everything, there's some kind of emptiness then, you know, because, like, okay, fuck, I put all my energy in this thing the last 4 or 5 years, I don't know, and now what?
Yeah. What's next?
You know, what's next?
Yeah.
And then this thing, you know, just because you once had this idea of, like, okay, I'm going in one direction with all my heart, with all my being, you know, I'm doing this thing, And it's so important to constantly remind yourself of, okay, where am I going?
Yeah.
And once you have a direction, you know, okay, let's take the first step and the next step, you know. And the first step is so important, and it's also actually not a difficult step, because most people think about the first step being buying something or quitting a job. But this is often like step 4, step 5, you know. Step 1 is maybe just open fucking Wikipedia and Google stuff or research about stuff you want to know, you know? And from this step, the step 2 emerges. And then you come to the 3rd and 4th and 5th step. And at some point you have to cross a river or something. You don't know how, but you're going to figure it out once you're there.
I feel like, too, like those steps, they don't happen overnight, back to back to back. Like for me, like my first travel experiences overseas really was with the military. You know what I mean? And my life was going in a completely different direction. But it opened my eyes to travel. The first time I stepped foot in Germany was in Bremenhaven on a nuclear sub base. And I remember going into the town and going to a smoke shop and buying a hip-hop album from just some random local German rapper. And I don't have the album anymore, I don't think. I mean, this is like, now I really wish I had it. You know what I mean? To see. But I would have never thought at that point in time that I would be back in Germany making music, right? And so, like, this was not even in my mindset. I was collecting albums from just the countries that I went to, and I liked hip-hop. So I was finding local or whatever artists and to just listen to the music. And I wish I would remember what it was, but it's so crazy. And that was, 15 years before I started rapping. This was when I was 19, you know what I mean? 20 years old. So, like, and now I'm 35, so it's like, and now I'm in Germany rapping, and it's just, it's these steps, like a lot of people will get thrown off their goals or get thrown off their ideas or their missions because these steps can sometimes take a long time, you know what I mean? And somewhere in between from step 1 to step 2, someone gets distracted, you know what I mean? And like you don't just get a van and go on a travel. Maybe you have to get a job to save the money to get the van, to get the, you know what I mean? Like there's a whole process. But I think that, I don't think that the universe like makes it an easy process, but I also think that, like, to be a hypocrite, I also think that it does, you know what I mean? Like I think some things will fall more in place for you than for other people and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like in a sense of like, but also, like, it's just manifesting it. Like, the camper van we're sitting in now, that's because I used your inspiration of having a van with a recording studio in it, and I said, like, let's put one of these inside the Lagerhalle. And we started thinking about it more, and then I started looking on eBay Kleinanzeigen, then I found some, and then I started asking them for donations, you know what I mean? And the lady that gave us this has an apple tree farm, and so we're going to go help her with their apple tree farm, and she gave us this, and so it's like, why this happening for us or for me, or there's people out there that are searching for a camper van for 5 years, you know what I mean, and can't find the one that they want, and like, can't get or get one and it's not it fucks up, and they get one and it fucks up, and it's just like, maybe that wasn't what maybe that's the universe being like, that wasn't your direction, but then when it just comes in and then you're able to like create it and create things that inspire others, then I think you're on the right path. I'm with the clubhouse. I truly believe that this place will never fail because it's here to provide motivation and inspiration for others. And because of that, I don't see the universe taking that away, not just from me, but from other people. And it's the same thing that you did with what you've done as far as inspiring and motivating. I think that even though the van breaks down or even though there are the rivers that have to be crossed, like, I think that because you are providing other people the motivation, and like other people have gotten camper vans from you. This one, you know what I mean, is a prime example.
I know actually like quite a few that got something like a van because of, not because of me, but maybe because I inspired them to think in a certain direction, and then they cultivated this idea,
Or they had this idea before, but you were like the tip. Does that make sense? Like, you were just like, okay, I'm fucking doing this now.
3 friends of mine making driver's license right now.
3 friends of mine making driver's license. Okay, see, exactly. So, like, I think that point is with this is when the hard times come, fuck it, because like I think that if we're able to provide this for other people, then we're gonna feel the fruits, you know what I mean, come back to us. And this is dope. So like with that being said, like what Like if someone was like, I want to quit my job, get a van, and go travel the world, like, would you say yes or no? Like, would you recommend it to your child? You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Yeah, I think I would too. Like,
because I mean, I've been broke like 3 times, and I never had enough money. You know, not that I was like living in luxury and I suddenly I'm broke. No, I was always kind of broke, but at some point I really had no money left. You know,
right.
I was 2 years on the road and I had money for half a year. So. And then when I was at my lowest, basically, I was 1,000 euros in minus my bank account. I was like, okay, well, what do I do? Do I call my dad? Say, hey, can you pick me up? I fucked up, or what do I do? You know, I still had 20 euros in my wallet. So okay, I don't die today. You know, I can buy some food. I can, if I have to, I can go tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then the next day, I was talking to all the hippies that they're also in the parking lot. You know, they never had money. You know.
Yeah. And like, what? What's your problem?
Yeah. like, come on, we just come with us. We go food diving, you know, into the supermarkets, and we get the food. And then there's also this place for homeless people to get food. You know, like, don't worry, you know, and come with us, and we show you. And then I went with them. And then in the evening we had like a huge meal, you know, with more ingredients that I would usually like even buy for myself. And we had like a nice company. We were playing board games and everything, you know. And then I was sitting there. I was like, okay, technically I'm economically dead, you know. I don't contribute anything to the society, like economically speaking.
Right. Which is a big concern for Germans. And
yes,
like
yes, like or people that just think rationally. You know?
Yeah, okay.
But I felt so liberated, you know. I felt so free. I felt so vital in a way, you know. It's like, man, I'm far from being dead. I feel so alive, actually. And with this vitality, I got new energy, you know. I had no expectations on me anymore, you know. I like, okay, I cannot solve this problem I have today, so I shouldn't stress myself on trying to solve it today. And then I was in a way content with the situation. Still don't know how to continue it forward, you know. That was the question to solve. And then I was also like it was a wave, you know. Sometimes I was feeling this, sometimes I was feeling the opposite. And then I also couldn't find street musicians that moment, like that were praying like on the street, that I'd like to be part of this project. But then I said, okay, I go to the streets once more, take my camera, you know, and then I went, and I had suddenly this whole studio was full of street music, and I met this guy and we did a recording, George on My Mind, which is still one of the most beautiful recordings on this journey I collected in a way, you know, and one of the most memorable situations. And then a few days later, my former professor called me and asked like, hey Martin, how are you doing? And I said, well, can be better. And he said, oh, what's the problem? I said, yeah, I have no money anymore, but otherwise I'm fine. And then he said, okay, let me do a few phone calls. And the next day I've been called by a public-funded Dutch production house, and they said, hey, really like your project, and we also heard you have some money problems. Is it an idea that we give you some money and you come to Holland and we can talk?
Yeah. Okay.
And I was like, yes, sure, we did. And then like 2 weeks later or something, I went there, we had a talk, and then I could continue my journey for another 7 months.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck? Where did this come from? You know?
Yeah.
And these things, they just appear. Or the similar story, I was in Greece. Like, it was a year later, because it took much longer than I thought.
Yeah.
I was without money again.
Yeah.
And then I told myself, okay, I've been going to this cafe like for 2 weeks just to find some sponsoring deals or anything, because I had to press the vinyls, which is so expensive and everything, you know. And I couldn't make anything happen. And then I got an email from a woman I've met on a parking lot in Greece. They were also traveling. She was a professor for anthropology. And she asked a friend of her, you know, that is on the foundation, and they liked my project, and they gave me 4,000 euros. Out of nothing.
Yeah, man.
Out of nothing. I was like, okay, what the fuck? Life provides in a way.
It's really crazy, but it does. And that... So at that point when you're with no money and you're with the hippies, like, would you have considered yourself successful? Like, if you would have stopped then, would you still have considered yourself successful? Or would you have, do you consider yourself successful?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it comes and goes, you know. Sometimes I think like I'm doing all right, and sometimes like, what the fuck I'm doing with my life?
Yeah,
you know, and it's I don't know. I don't like this word successful, man.
Yeah.
Either stuff is resonating with you or it is not. And when it's resonating with you, then the success is a mere side effect.
Yeah. Because what is success?
What is success?
Right? Yeah. To be real, like I look at people my age, and some are doctors, and some are having families, and some own multi-million-dollar companies. And sometimes I look at that and I'm like, well, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm like, where am I at with all this? Like, I'm still collecting fan. I'm doing things like this. Like, where the fuck am I at with all this? But then I get messages from them also being like, I wish I was doing what you were doing, or what you're doing is so badass. You know what I mean? So, like, they look at me as successful, and I look at them as successful, So it's like, what is successful? It just equals itself out. And I think that at the end of the day, we're just, we can't define success, but if we're happy and we push through tough times and then see benefit, then I think that, call it successful or not, but we're definitely not giving up and overcoming challenges. Does this make sense? And like we're reaching higher goals by not giving up with what we're doing, while other people, in my opinion, you have people that are sit and play League of Legends all day. You know what I mean? Like, and this is like
I would argue that success implies freedom.
Right.
Because if you own $1 million company, but you need to work 60 hours a week doing stuff you don't like, are you successful?
Right.
You may have a heated pool in your garden. Are you successful? I don't think so.
Like, I just used video games as an example, and that's actually a horrible example, because people sit in front of those for years and never see income from it, and then one day they blow up on Twitch and start making $100,000 a day. You know what I mean? And so for all the times you told me not to fucking do this, to not spend the hours playing, maybe I didn't see anything for years, but look what it's led me to now, which is, greatness in another form of fashion. So it's like...
I find it a bit like dangerous to encourage people only to play video games, because it's a very small percentage of the video game players that can actually sustain themselves by video playing.
Of course.
But what I find so inspiring from street musicians and how they do their job, basically, is they found something they're good at. Not even like Beethoven, Mozart like good, but they found something that they are like doing and that they can do. They have certain skill in this, and they use this skill to liberate themselves from what society usually would have put upon them.
Video games do that.
What?
Video games do that.
Yeah, of course, yes. But I mean, the thing is that you acquire a skill. That you acquire a skill, and this skill, once you like let the skill grow, like whether it's making music, whether it's making recordings, whether it's playing a video game.
Yeah.
If you can use this skill to liberate yourself from the system you are in.
Yeah.
Then something magical is happening.
Yeah.
Because then you gain freedom.
Yeah.
And out of this freedom, what you do becomes better.
Yeah.
And you get even more independent. So you become total free. You can grow in any direction you want.
One of the biggest reasons that I'm doing what I'm doing is because of the freedom. In a sense of like, I won't get into everything, but it's like, even if you're following the rules and like I'm so free that I will drive a car without a driver's license. You know what I mean? And like, so like there's a point of like freedom, but still following the rules, and then like ultimate freedom, but that will get you in trouble in a form or fashion. And this is a hard toggle to make almost, because like the biggest, but at the end of the day, even if I am doing it the right way or the wrong way, freedom is such a powerful accomplishment, in my opinion. Because ever since I was a kid, and it's the same story for everybody everywhere. We were told to do one thing, we were told to go a certain way, based upon the knowledge of our parents who only want the best for us, but they only know specific directions. Like, back to earlier, like if my kid came up to me and said, Dad, I want to be a rapper and travel the world, I'd be like, oh my God, like this is
yeah.
This is beautiful. You know what I mean? And like another parent would drop everything and just be like, oh my God, we're sending you to reform school, like right now, you're smoking marijuana. You know what I mean? Like, so it's really all in the eye of the beholder, right? But like, I think reaching a level in your life where there was one time specifically where I feel like I hit that moment, yeah, and that was I was sitting on Warschauer Strasse, and this is before they built the mall there. Before the mall was there, we had a beautiful skyline, like a beautiful skyline view, and as the sun's setting and the sky is like pink and purple, and you can imagine seeing like the tower there. It's the picture that's like used for every logo of the city, but now there's a fucking mall in front of there, and they won't put that in there, but it's so beautiful. And I remember I'm sitting there and I'm playing, and there's like 60 people. I mean, we have Warschauer just filled with people, and people are sitting down watching, and people have their blankets out, and like there's a moment when I just get like total goosebumps over my body, and I start crying because I'm thinking in my brain, I'm like, holy shit, dude, you're like this dude from Texas that like just dropped everything and went overseas, and now you're sitting here rapping for like all these people who you would have never ever connected with in your entire life, and the sun's setting and you're staring at a fucking city that you never expected to be in. You know what I mean? Like, 14-hour plane ride away from where the fuck you came from, and I'm thinking this, and I'm like, and I just get these goosebumps that just go all over my body, and I'm just like it was almost like I reached enlightenment at this current point. You know what I mean? Like I reached a point. I reached. Were you crying right there? Or was it this moment?
No, I was just something.
I was like, I know my stories are powerful, homie, but like, damn, like no, like, no. Like I reached a point where I just really was like, holy fuck, like this is beautiful. You know what I mean? And that was a moment for me when I really felt like everything was worth it, and that I was on a journey that was totally magical. You know what I mean? And like, at the end of the day, my lifestyle and my life, some people may never see it as good because they don't understand it, and this is okay. But I just hope that like in everybody's life, they reach a point where they're like, I'm free, because everybody who works at a job strives to be the boss. You know what I mean? In a sense, like, or take their knowledge and then start their own company. Like this is in my opinion, this is a goal of lots and lots of people. And I not to dog anybody's jobs or make anybody's jobs seem bad, because people have to do what they have to do for sure. But I honestly don't think that our lives are meant to like scan groceries. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think that we're meant to do that. I think that we're meant to do amazing fucking things with ourselves. You know what I mean? And when we start to learn that now, I think that that's a good skill to have for the future. Like regardless of what we do in 10 years, 20 years, doing this shit is gonna make our lives so cool. Like
I think when I just listen to you, so many things pop up in my head because they resonate, and I'm trying to like, hey, what can I add to this? And there's one thing, we talk about freedom a lot, and I wrote in my van, like, you are here to create, because in a way I had all the freedom I wanted, but also this freedom was sometimes terrifying, because it was like, you can do everything, so what you gonna do? And then sometimes like, okay, I don't know what to do, so I don't do anything. And then you do something in a way not creative, or something destructive in a way. You just spend like hours on Instagram or whatever, just to turn off your head. And I wrote, you are here to create, because when you create, there is a joy to this that can't be described even. And I think freedom when you talk about freedom, you also have to talk about the joy of creation, because just freedom alone will
You get bored.
Yeah, you get bored.
Yeah.
You get bored.
Yeah.
So you have to give purpose to this freedom. You have to fill this freedom. You know,
Yeah.
freedom is like an emptiness. You know,
It's a very good way to put it.
and you have to put something in there that is meaningful.
Because you can't just be like, I don't have a job, so now I just sit here.
Yeah, but your life is getting worse every second.
So
you
like
sit
I'm
there.
free from the job. I don't have to get up at 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But what am I doing now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you do something. You just sit there meditating or smoke a joint or whatever,
Well,
and
I mean-
you feel content for a while. But what do you do after?
Do you think everybody's creative though? Do you think everybody has that ability?
Yes, I think so. But people are sometimes have to dig deep, and
Yeah.
and we should not think about our creativity only in terms of painting and making music or
100%,
or cook-
100%,
But
yeah.
but look at making delicious food,
Yeah.
raising a child,
Yeah.
building a garage or constructing a house. You know, man, be creative.
Yeah.
You know, this is all creative in this sense, and there is such a joyous quality to creating something out of yourself, something that was not there, but you made it, and now it's there. There's such a joy to this that can fill this freedom, and it's so important, because I think these are the most two important things in my life, basically. You know, like focus on creation and maintaining freedom. And this creation, once you put your heart to it, your soul to it, your everything you have into this, it's gonna liberate you and increase the freedom that you already have. Like street music.
Yeah, 100%. Which is so inspiring to other people, which is great. Yeah. Martin, thank you very much for being on the podcast. I really
Wow.
appreciate that, man. Thank you for having me. And
Vice versa.
yeah.
Wow.
Wait, yeah. I'm used to being the one that's getting asked the questions.
Man.
I just saw I stared. That just popped out.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I really appreciate your time, and I hope all your future projects work out great for you. And it was really nice to sit down and get to talk with you. I had a great time when I did your project, and it stuck with me for many years, and it still does. So.
I hope I can continue it.
Yeah,
That's actually also why I have this thing here.
And to be real, like, even if you can't, I hope that what you've done inspires other people too. Because continuing this process and continuing passing down our knowledge of what we've done and putting it out there for the world to see is so important, because there will be a time in our lives when we can't be doing what we're doing anymore. And it's so important that we put this out there for the people and get the people to do this. So yeah, I hope other people continue to grab microphones on the streets and make music, you know, and one of my goals is to make sure that happens, and one of your goals is to make sure that people get to see become producers and studio engineers and can get a van and go travel.
Any
anything.
kind. Man, don't limit yourself to what I did or what anybody else did. Just like try to look at what, when we talk about freedom and creating, you know, try to look at where it feels uncomfortable for you.
Yeah.
And where this feeling of discontent is, there is actually also where you put your effort, you know, there is something.
Yeah.
And try to cultivate it that makes you discontent, and try to find something that make you feel content.
Yeah.
That you know, there's an opposite to everything. So if you feel terrible at home because you don't have purpose in life, there's purpose in your life.
Yeah, man.
Because everything has opposite. You know, try to find that, and once you found that, it's so easy. It's so easy. Just it's like a rubber band. You know, if you feel like so little and tiny, and you just imagine the opposite of it. It's like the rubber band gets so much tension. You know, once you just let go of everything, like you just like explode.
And the experience happens.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Have a good day, yeah?
You too.
Boom, boom.
Boom, 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 bada boom.
Boom.